Welcome to module number 3, MoR Perspectives. What are the module objectives? After completing this module, you will be able to explain the organizational perspectives and the interrelationships between them. Describe how the MoR principles apply to each perspective. We're going to look into some roles and responsibilities relevant to risk management from each perspective. And finally, we will look into what enterprise risk management is. Speaking, there are 4 organizational perspectives. There is a strategic perspective. This perspective focuses on ensuring overall business success, vitality, and feasibility. And then you have the program perspective. This perspective focuses on transforming business strategy into new innovative ways of working in order to deliver measurable benefits to the organization. And then you have the project perspective. This perspective focuses on delivering defined outputs to an appropriate level of quality within agreed scope, time, and cost constraints. And then you have the operational perspective. This perspective focuses on maintaining appropriate levels of business services to existing and new customers. So they would ask you questions in the exam in terms of what are the 4 perspectives of risk management. And the answer is strategic, program, project, and operational perspective. The strategic perspective is usually a long-term perspective. Program and project perspectives are medium-term, and operational perspectives are short-term. Well, how are these perspectives interrelated? It's important to establish and maintain interrelationships for risk management to be effective. At times when we work on projects, there could be certain risks that go beyond the level of tolerance at the project board level. So there could be a need to escalate that risk to either the program or to the strategy committees. So there's a relationship between projects and programs and strategic perspectives. So it's important to kind of note that each of these perspectives is not something that we carry out in isolation, but they kind of interrelate to one another. If you remember the definition of a program is defined as a group of related projects. So when you look at a program risk perspective, you're looking at dependencies between projects. How would they impact the program objectives? So there's a kind of interface between projects and programs and the strategic aspects. And then there's a bit of BAU aspect of work that would impact the interrelationships between all of these elements. Let's kind of apply MoR principles to the 4 perspectives. Remember, we kind of looked into 4 perspectives: strategic, program, operational, and project perspectives. And remember, we kind of also looked into the principles a bit. The principles are aligned with objectives, fit the context, engaging stakeholders, provide clear guidance, informs decision-making, facilitate continual improvement, creates a supportive culture, and achieve measurable value. Now, let's pick up one of the perspectives. Let's say we are working at a program level. Now, at the program level, we got to manage risks pertaining to that particular program objective. So risk management should be aligned at the program level to the objectives of the program. If we are managing it at the project level, we got to make sure it's kind of aligned at the project level. If we are managing risks at the operational level, we got to make sure that the risk effort is aligned with the operational objectives. And then we got to make sure that a particular perspective fits the context. In other words, the scale, the complexity, and the amount of risk effort that we put in needs to fit in the context. We got to engage relevant stakeholders. For example, at the project level, the stakeholders that we might be dealing with would be members of the project board, could be project managers, project coordinators. We've got people who are involved in delivering the outputs and deliverables. But if you're looking at operational risk perspective, the kind of stakeholders that you would be dealing with would be mostly folks from the business as usual environment. But if you're dealing at a strategic perspective, your stakeholders could be investment committee members, steering group members. So depending upon the perspective, we make sure that we engage the relevant stakeholders. And then there needs to be clear guidance across each of the perspectives, making sure that each of the boards in each of the perspectives makes informed decisions. And there has to be a continual improvement in the way things are being done. For example, the project risk framework needs to be continually developed. Program risk management frameworks need to be constantly developed, along with making sure that there is a creative and a supportive culture to ultimately achieve the measurable value. We kind of looked at, the last principle is all about achieving measurable value. It's all about making sure that the risk effort that we are putting in is yielding the needed value. Now, within each perspective, objectives, context, and the detailed approach to implementing risk management to protect and enhance those objectives may differ. However, the measurable value that risk management enables does not differ. So we've got a few measures laid out for us over here. So measures broadly fall into two categories. You have performance measures and process measures on this particular slide. Under the performance measures, we have examples: reduction in waste, resources used to physically rework goods or repeat services reduces, as does management time spent to resolve actual problems or issues. That's reduction in waste. And then increase in satisfaction. Client or user confidence that management is proactive and anticipates and optimizes the outcome from certain situations. Another example that we have is improved regulatory performance. For example, an ever-decreasing trend in health, safety, and environmental issues could be an example. And then on the process measures side, we have reduction in surprises. So the number of issues that arise without being identified and managed as risk reduces. The second example we have is increase in participation. Staff involvement is proactive. Anticipatory work increases confidence and improves the quantity and quality of future risk identification. And finally, we have increased visibility. There's a clear description of risk, and it kind of enables understanding and effective communication between stakeholders.